Hello again, Andy with Handy Andy Handyman, Handy Andy on Demand, and welcome to a project walkthrough. So this is one we're getting ready to do for an existing customer, and this is more just catching a lot of little stuff before it gets expensive. So we've got this vented dormer over here on the right side, and you can't see it so well in the video, but that the bottom trim piece on this right here is rotted through, and then it's to that point where it just needs a quick coat of paint and stain. We'll come back later in the year and probably repaint this whole house because it's due. The windows are starting to all rot out because they were never caulked. This is a beautiful home, custom built, expensive home, fairly well built, but they cut corners on the exterior finishes because people don't pay for that stuff. When you come around this side, you'll see, and again, it may be a little bit hard to see it, but this has already been fixed once. This fascia board right here above this gutter, and you'll see a line right in there that's a seam. That's where the seam is rotted. See the wrinkle at the bottom? That's where it's rotted because they didn't back prime and seal the replacement piece. So we'll repair it again. Another common thing that's coming up on houses like this one, all of these gutters are leaking. And so the fascia board is behind it. The fascia is what the gutter sits against. It started to rot, but it hasn't rotted through yet. And if you look closely at these gutters, you'll see two screws in the very bottom edge of this gutter. That's what holds the corner together. And so it's been leaking all this time. The guys will tune it up and they'll seal those corners with a clear elastomeric sealant. You need to redo it every 5 years. It only lasts for about 5 years. And then the guys will come through and do a roof tune-up. So over here, he's got a vent boot like that right there. The bottom edges have never been sealed, so every time it rains, the water's getting to the decking. And they'll look around like you can see it up here. They've got a cover shingle over that flashing up there. It has dropped out of position. This one is gone underneath this elbow right here on the roof. You see the shadow underneath that metal? That's where the flashing is unsealed, so every time it rains, guess where the water's going? Right inside there. Cedar shakes are beautiful. You got to kind of redo one coat of those every 5 years to keep them right, even with us doing it. You just have to budget for that. If you don't, you're going to be replacing your cedar shakes, and cedar shakes are thinner than the siding, so they just take a lot of abuse. You can see on the windows here, we're not going to do anything about it right now. This is why we talk about caulking the joints in the windows. So see right here, they never caulked that sash point, they just smeared paint in it. And if you look closely down in here, you'll see where the edge of the window is rotting and pulling out. See that corner down there? So there's a lot of failed caulk on the house, and we'll catch that stuff when we paint. But what we're going to do in this tune-up, we'll come through and clean and clear caulk all the edges of the windows just so they don't rot anymore. In terms of exterior paint work, the white caulk that we use just holds up much better. What you're paying for in a caulk is the ability to expand and contract with changing temperatures, especially when it's warm like here in Atlanta. And so as you go around this house, you'll see window after window. See this window right here? See the bottom edge, left corner? That's a window. So the edge is actually rotting out. So we can seal that. These are fixed windows. That window's not meant to open. These windows aren't meant to open. So they can be cut back and the lower sashes repaired. We're not gonna do it on this run. We're just gonna caulk them on so it doesn't get any worse. When we get ready to paint, we'll come back and deal with the windows. It's hard to see it in the video, but up on this window right here, we were actually inside the house. That whole center is about 2 inches away from the rest of the house. That's an interior trim piece that the builder's subs use to piece these windows together. So he's been getting a ton of water staying on the inside of that window and above it as well. So we need to repair that. The frame is rotted inside between these two windows, and then we'll caulk the whole window as well. He's got the same issues with these windows caulking. This one will be hard to see it. This little foyer window above the entryway here, that window sash is rotted all the way through. Every company in Atlanta would make them replace that whole window. We can actually repair the bottom. And then on this little dormer right here, got a similar issue. The shakes are just starting to rot. So if we can come in now and just put one coat of stain and paint on this dormer, it'll be in good shape. You can kind of see the windows again when you get up close on them. In here, this is what the guys will be caulking. Everywhere you've got gaps around the window, see that black line all the way around? And you'll see it up the sides as well. See how the window is curling right here? This is a fixed window. So we can caulk it up a little bit for now, but when we get ready to paint it, we'll actually skin these windows back and repair the rot. You can see the wrinkling in here. There's no point doing that right now because they're already rotted, and we're gonna come into the spring and paint anyway. But everywhere around the house, you look at these windows, you're gonna see where the caulk is failing. Look for the black, and you'll see what we're talking about on your own house. Black is gonna cost you money. Here they didn't do a good job sealing the bases of these iron railings out here, and you can see where this one is actually rotted through. So we'll put a support down inside the hole, and then we'll seal them over to the top with concrete The thing is, where you see this little concrete up here, it's only yay thick. You can't really see it here because it rained, but you can kind of see where it fell in on this one. So if you look down in here, this is what kills me about these guys. Why not just fill the whole thing up? I can't really pull it out, but you'll see what fell through. It wasn't filled solid. So we'll fill these solid, tighten them up, and then come back and paint these things a flat black, and they'll be in great shape. Tune-ups on houses are really important because if you don't do it, your stuff's gonna rot out. So this upper roof chimney right here, if you look at the bottom base of that chimney, it's rotted through. The arch piece above it, the molding above it, and the cap on the front side are rotted out. The left side has some rot too. This dormer we mentioned, just need to paint it. There's not really any rot in that yet, although the guys will break out their ladders. I can only do so much from the ground, because like this window right here looks perfect from the ground. But when you get up on a ladder or you go inside the house like I did, it's rotted all the way through. Down through here, it's all just caulking windows right now. So they'll go around every window, clear caulk what's needed so we're not getting any more water inside the house, we're not rotting these windows out, and they'll be good to go with it. You start to see some of it, and one of the other things with brick houses that we'll mention really quick is you'll see some weed poles scattered around the house here. And of course now I can't find them, but these little tubes coming out above the windows right here is meant to get condensation and moisture out from behind the brick, and right now they're clogged all the way around the house. So we just need to run a tool through there and clean them out. So some of the stuff we're talking about is like on this window right here. See the failed caulk at the bottom right here? Every time it rains, where do you think the water's going? Right in here behind